Week commencing the 14th of April forecast sees the big picture in your chart for the rest of this year in some ways competing with more immediate energies. The big picture has seen your ruler Saturn applying to a whole series of players in the third house of your chart, which is quick communication, connections with people immediately around you, your belief systems. But Mercury, the communicator, moves out of that area this week and into your fourth house, which is where the Sun, Chiron, is, but also now Neptune. Saturn, your ruler, is going to join them on the 25th of May. So for the rest of this year, Saturn, and to a lesser extent Neptune, are going to be hovering between your fourth and third houses. So how you think, but how you feel is really very important. The full moon last week, which comes into this new week, you come into this new week with, was about the delicate balance between your feelings, your environment, how heard you feel by people you're close to, but also your connection to the wider world. So when the Sun makes its way on Saturday into the part of your chart that's to do with fun, sociability, showcasing your charisma, your talents, flair, that's all lovely, but still be guided by how things feel. Because when Mercury returns to Aries on Wednesday, it merges with the drifting, dreamy vibe of Neptune. And if you're not quite sure about how some things feel, it's going to be difficult to embrace the more playful, outgoing vibe of the Sun. Also, ironically, at the start of this week, Mars, which has been really asking you to assert your boundaries around relationships since the 6th of January, it starts the week in a fantastic link with your ruler, but also with Venus now going direct. So if your communication is being heard and is clear with someone, you could forge a really amazing bond right at the start of this week, or strengthen one that's been developing. But then Mars moves, like the Sun and Mercury, and Mars moves into a part of your chart which through to the middle of June can see you much more focused on desire. Now the desire for you could be around finance, it could be around intimacy, it depends on your unique situation. But each time these energies are triggered, take it back to that bigger picture vibe. How does it feel? Because the sign of Capricorn is very much about being hardworking, being disciplined, being very applied, and the moon in your sign in some ways isn't at her best. She's in her detriment. So having fourth house energy is asking you in a respect to become a little bit more au fait with the feeling side of life. It's not to say that Capricorns generally don't have emotions, because of course you do, but you can be very focused on seeing things in a very pragmatic way. So that gathering of players in the sign of Aries, including the Sun merging with Chiron at the start of this week, suggests if you're not listening to your instincts, if you're ignoring them, or you're trying to push forwards with something, but you're going against some inner doubts, that ultimately could sabotage you. So very, very important to be in touch with the more tender, atmospheric, sensitive, emotional parts of your nature, because whichever way you approach things, once Saturn arrives, along with Neptune, they are going to almost compel you to listen to those things more attentively. So towards the end of this week, as the Sun moves into that more playful area, still ask yourself, does this feel right? Then as Mars moves forwards, goes opposite Pluto across your 8th, 2nd houses, that's the axis to do with ins and outs around finance, can be your values, can be shared money, but the 5th house could see you wanting to be more escapist and do something in a more impulsive way. For example, kick up your heels, be a bit naughty, splash some cash, because you may be feeling something in a way which needs some kind of diversion or some liberation. So it's a very, very important week. It's a very transitional week. Lots of energies moving very swiftly as you go through the whole 7 days. But the big picture for the rest of this year is inescapable. It's about being more in touch with how you feel, and perhaps also your vulnerabilities, whatever other things, whether it's finance, work, relationships, fun, are competing for your attention. Please check out my new website at www.patrickarundell.com. You can download your amazing free natal birth chart, but also you can subscribe to your free daily written horoscope or book a reading with me personally. Please see below for more.